Good morning, sweet people. I'm going to go ahead and start us with Chapter 6, Section 1, Example number 2. We are skipping example number 1. On Chapter 6, you guys are going to see that some of these examples are ones that in class would take a lot of conversation, and we would go back and forth and kind of discuss where the relevance is of this. But because of our circumstances, we're just going to cover the material that I know that you absolutely need. So we're going to start by talking about augmented matrices. And the good news is we are done with trig for a minute, so you guys can actually enjoy some of this chapter. It'll be pretty easy and pretty straightforward, especially to begin with. So I'm going to begin by pulling up the lesson, okay? And you guys are going to work with me on creating an augmented matrix. So as scary as that sounds, it's actually not too terribly bad, because what you're going to do is create a matrix that represents the system of equations, okay? What we'll do is we look at all of the different variables we have. Now, there's a total of 4 variables, W, X, Y, and Z, but we only have 3 columns to the left of the equal sign. So what we're going to do is create a 4th column and then fill in zeros for the coefficients that are missing. It sounds worse than what it is, but on the very first one, I have 1W, so a 1 here, 4X, so a 4 here. I am missing Y, so I put a 0 in place of that, and then a 1Z, okay? And then on the right-hand side of the equal sign, I have the value 2, so I'm going to have a dashed line that kind of separates this, and then I'm going to write the number 2. Then I'm going to continue on for the next equation. So the next equation, I'll swap colors to make it a little easier. I have 1x, 2y, a negative 3z. So I have no w here. So I'll put a 0 for the w, then 1, 2, negative 3, and then the number to the right of the equal sign is going to be on the right of the dotted line, and that is simply a 0. Continuing on, I have 1w, no x, a negative 3, a negative 8, and then on the right-hand side of the equal sign, a negative 1. Very last equation, I have 3w, 2x, 3y, and no z, so I put a 0 in place of the z value, and then on the right-hand side of the equal sign is the number 9. And my answer is actually this entire matrix. So you're not solving it, you're simply writing it as an augmented matrix. In other words, you're organizing the data that you've been given, and then you're showing what's on the right-hand side of the equal sign by writing out the constants on the right of the dashed line. Now, what you need to be aware of here before you stop this video completely is that this has to be written in correct form. So if, let's say, for instance, this very last equation was 3w minus 9 equals negative 2x minus 3y, I could not simply plug in those values. I would have to write it to where all of the variables are on the left side and the constants are on the right. So you might have to do some rewriting in your homework to make sure that you have this correct. Good luck.